It was Alejandra here today.
Alejandro.
Oh, I saw her. I texted her this morning. Then her Chipotle order. She didn't respond. Yeah, I'm gonna get.
All right.
I feel like I'm moved.
So let's go through the homework questions. A lot of you guys need to, I appreciate you guys are here. I guess. Um, oh, sorry, this is the wrong thing. My bad. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over rule theorem, and so just make sure that you guys understand. So for me, let me do a notability. So the first one is actually you gotta pay attention. Are they continuous or differentiable? Yeah, what happened? Something's wrong.
Oh no.
Okay. So for this one is what's wrong with this graph? Is that satisfy for Rolle's theorem?
No.
No, why not? Right, different when the third condition is not fulfilled, so this is not right. And this one is A and B. They have the same. They are continuous and differentiable. This is yes. This one's not continuous, so the only answer is G. It's pretty easy. Now, for the next one, you also know that this is not differentiable, and this is not continuous. And then this is okay. So this is only one works. Represents 2 and 3, so C is the only choice. However, this is the one where everybody made mistake. What did you pick for answer for this one?
B.
B? Everybody pick B? Did anybody pick different answer?
First at B and then I put A.
Well, A is the only right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Gia feel like a genius right now. She's like, I got it.
Oh yeah. We'll see the next step. Could you please explain why it was?
Yeah, of course. The problem is this is f of A is equal to 0 equal to f of B. That means f of A is equal to f of B. They also say it's continuous, but pay attention. Those are the key things that you have to be reading. So I would say the people who does well on AP exam is they are I think they are excellent readers. They pay attention to those small details. And the detail says it never says differentiable. You can just assume things. You have to take as they given to you. Yeah, I understand like why people assume like when I read the first time I will be like assuming wait, and then now I go back and says wait, are they talking about, are they missing something? And those are things that you should reconsider when you think about theorems. Make sure they have all the things. That f prime x might not exist for some x such that a is less than x less than b. This is true because it may exist, it may be differentiable whole way, but it also there's a possibility it may not. So it may or may not. So may not is a very safe bet in terms of true and false questions because it's more inclusive, I feel like. Now, that's disprove all of them. So I'm gonna tell you like when the AP exam comes, those students who pick the right answer doesn't mean that they're gonna get a 5. But if those people can tell you why the other answer are wrong, then they can get a 5. So that's the good B. So we know this one's good. We know there's at least one point where C f prime C is equal to 0. But the problem, this is talking about Rolle's theorem. But the problem is it didn't have a condition to talk about Rolle's theorem, so this one does not apply. Is that okay? F prime of x is equal to 0 for all x such as between A to B. Well, this tells you that it's actually not only anything. This is actually just a horizontal line from A to B, because that just means slope is equal to 0. So that's also not right. But this one's even worse. This one's f of x is equal to 0. That means the whole time is a horizontal line is on x-axis. So this is not working. Does that make sense? It's an x-axis because y equal to 0. That's just a horizontal line on x-axis. And f prime of x exists for all x, but it never says differentiable the whole way, so this is not one of them. So you got to be able to disprove all other answer choice. It will make you better answers, not only to pick the right one, but you have to say, so what is this answer choice meaning to me? If you can grasp that, you'll be fine. I think this one I got C. This one I got C. Do I need to show you the work or no? For sure. If I take a derivative, it's going to be 6x squared minus 10. They're also differentiable and continuous because they're polynomial. So 6x squared equal to 10. X squared equal to 10 over 6. So x squared equal to 5 over 3. And the x squared is equal to x equal to square root of 15 over 3. So the rationalize. You have to rationalize. Most of you guys.
I took out the 3.
What?
I took like 2. I have to have like the parentheses is like 3c squared minus 1.
Yeah, but you divide by 2 on both sides, just 2 is going to go away. It's just going to get 3x squared equal to 5.
Oh yeah, I'll just...
Because he did 10 over 6 and then he just changed it to 5 over 3.
Essentially the same. Now, if a function is continuous on a closed interval between a and b and a differentiable on an open interval between a to b, yes. Sure. If I take a derivative, it's going to be 1/2, right? Minus 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. Is that okay? So be 1/2 equal to 1/2 root x. Then 2 root x equal to 2 because cross multiply. Yeah, set equal to 0. And then root x is equal to 1. And then square both sides, x equal to 1. Just math. For this one, it says x continuous, differentiable, which of following may not be satisfied. Well, we know that's not enough for Rolle's theorem because Rolle's theorem need one more, right? Need f of b is equal to f of a. So this one is not going to be satisfied. And then so 2 only is the only choice because you cannot pick 1 because there's no 1 and 2. So therefore mean value theorem does not apply. Because there's only one right choice. So E is only one. That has 2 only. It doesn't have 2 and 1 only, then yeah. So take a derivative is going to be cosine of x minus sine of x is equal to 0. Cosine of x is equal to sine of x. The only time it happened is pi over 4, but you can divide by both sides by cosine of x. By cosine of x, then it's going to be 1 equal to sine of x over cosine of x. And that's 1 equal to 10 of x. And that's x equal to pi over 4. Is that okay? You take a derivative of this, so it's 1/2 9 minus x squared to the negative 1/2 times negative 2x. The only one can equal to 0 here is only 2x can equal to 0, x equal to 0. Because this happened at an endpoint, is also denominator, is not defined. This one's going to be 3x minus 7 equal to 0. 3x squared is equal to 7. X squared is equal to 7 over 3. And it's going to be 7 over 3 like that. Square root 3 over square root 3 is equal to square root 21 over 3. And there goes our answers. Now, so this is an idea of Rolle's value theorem. Now, the frequency of Rolle's theorem occur on the test is a lot less compared to mean value theorem. And I'm going to explain to you why. But this is a question is a gateway to the next part because it kind of give you an introduction to mean value theorem because they show you one answer choice. So with a deductive reasoning that mean value theorem probably does not have FB equal to FA because, you know, this one is only continuous and differentiable And mean value theorem probably does not have that. But deductive reasoning, that doesn't really go by much. So then you say, okay, well, what is the question talking about? Now, in this case, that if you really think about it, that if you have, let's talk about all the theorem. There was an intermediate value theorem. So we're gonna put all the theorem so far. Intermediate value theorem just says f must be continuous between A to B, right? And this one is actually weird. FA does not equal to FB because they have to have a different height in order for intermediate value theorem to work. So we just review this, and I'm gonna go back and look at its actual definition because I'm gonna write it better. And K is a number. K is number between f of A and f of B. That's why they cannot equal to each other. If it's equal to each other, you don't have a number in between. So there is at least one C in A and B where f of C is equal to K. So it must go to a point. So this is intermediate value theorem. Then you say, okay, well, yeah, that's one theorem. Extreme value theorem. This is all the theorem you need to know. 1, 2, 3, and this is result. Okay. Extreme value theorem says f must be continuous. And this one's probably the easiest one. If f is continuous, there is maximum and the minimum. Is that okay? There's maximum, minimum. Just think about a function that is basic this, right? This is a closed circle. There's a maximum value at the end. There's a minimum value on the left. And this one I'll draw it for you. Let's just say A is right here. This is f of A. And this is f of B. And the K is somewhere in between. So if you have A and B here, you have something like this. It's continuous. There must be a C that equal to that. It's just basically understanding it must go through that. It's like water. When I'm drinking water, this has to go through the label. It doesn't matter what. So that's intermediate value theorem. Is that okay? We already did that before. We test both value, we plug in. We say, oh, one output is 6 and one output is 10. You know it's continuous. It has to go through 8. Does that make sense? That's just a very easy understanding.
On the side, like next to the graph, which is like that.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about rules value theorem. So rules. Now, the reason why I say rules is because there's an O right here. This means f prime of x equal to 0. That's the easiest way to think about it. Now, we already know those three conditions. And those three conditions says f is continuous, f is differentiable between parenthesis AB and bracket AB, and FA does equal to FB. Now the drawing is going to be something like this. Between A to B, they have the same height. You must have multiple time that C is that C1 or C2 where slope is equal to 0. So result is f prime c equal to 0 within parenthesis a, b. Why it's not including the endpoint? Because endpoint is not differentiable again. I'm going to say that again. So if you got your c, this will happen at endpoint, you should not including that value. Is that okay? So let's just say if I take a derivative here, right? If I did whatever thing I did earlier. Okay, so let's just say if I have this one, I got 1. Now I happen to get another value at 0. C equal to 0 and C equal to 1. 0 got to exclude it because it happened at the endpoints. Because it's not part of it.
Would you write that in? You write that
yeah, so it's the interval should be between 0 to 4, but the problem you should not including 0 and 4 because that endpoint is not differentiable. So it doesn't really work.
The question would give you like for f is continuous, it has to be continuous from A to B, so it has to be in brackets, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can be continuous in bracket, but it can be differentiable open circle because the endpoint is not differentiable. So we talk about rule theorem. Now let's compare rule theorem and then, so this is my Michael rule. Right, this is my Michael rules. Now Lagrange, mathematician Lagrange is also known as Lagrange theorem. Lagrange theorem says the mean value theorem. Now you're gonna say, well, what's the difference between mean value theorem? Mean value theorem is actually pretty interesting. Lagrange is a lazy guy. He kind of just stole other people's theorem and just modify it. So he take the first two conditions. They says f is continuous between A to B. Seems like they all have a common denominator. They must be continuous, but f is differentiable. And they must state it in the question, right? Because sometimes they don't state it in the question. Now they don't have the third condition. All suddenly is f no longer needed, right? No longer needed. So there's no third condition. But the result is this: is they must be have a f prime of c is equal to f of b minus f of a over b minus a. And I'm going to show you the reason why. I'm going to show you on the graph. So imagine I have a graph. And this one you got to pay attention because it's always on AP exam B. So if no longer f of a equal to f b, do they have to have the same height? Not anymore, right? So they have here, what's the slope between those 2 points? 1/2, good. So the slope between those 2 points, 1/2. Now imagine I have some type of curve. And this some type of curve goes like this. Okay. And they are differentiable and continuous and so on and on. And we create a green line between this 1/2, which is we know as a secant line. So I'm gonna have a tangent line throughout a blue curve. So imagine I have a tangent line on a blue curve like this. I have tangent line blue curve like this. And also they like, okay, well, hey, look, the slope of this time, it's actually the same, right? And I have slope this way, I have slope this way, and I have slope this way, and then later on you have a slope this way. That's the tangent line. So it have two situations that they have a tangent line. Like roughly right here. Roughly, I don't know exactly what happened, but this red point here, it seems like they have a slope like exactly identical to 1/2. And here, it's also exactly identical to 1/2. And so the slope of those three lines are congruent. So basically, this is what this is. Yep, they are parallel. They have the same slope. Why are you so late? Huh?
I was not gonna go to school tonight.
Oh, of course. Your dad's a Haitian, right?
Yeah.
Is the most of Haitian parents are strict? Or just your dad?
I'd say I was awoken from my sleep.
Get your ass up, go to school. What the hell are you doing here?
Please, man, no one's gonna be here.
Is that curse word involved?
Huh?
There's no curse word. Your dad's chill?
Yeah.
It was me. I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Get your ass out of here. You're getting your ass to school. I'm actually the old-fashioned dad. Leah's like, look at me, what? Why are you looking at me that way? I'm a very old-fashioned person. I curse my kids off. Huh? No, he doesn't understand Chinese. He's a whitewash. He's a whitewash. He only like, you don't have him Chinese. He's like, what? What you saying? Huh? Oh, I'm too lazy. I'm no patient. I was strangle him before. Shit, I'm live streaming. I will strangle him if I had to teach him Chinese. This is the f prime of C, right? This is the f prime of C. Now, at this point, you're gonna have a C1 and C2. That word that tangent line slope is equal to the secant line slope. So the way I kind of think about it is like this. This f prime of C is gonna give you a tangent line slope. Is equal to the secant line slope. It must go through that. It must. It has to have a same exact slope at some point in time. You can even a straight line, you have a same slope at every single moment. But you have to have some time that's exactly the same time. So that's mean value theorem. So Austin, just recap. Mean value theorem pretty much just says f is continuous, f is differentiable. Unlike Rolle's value theorem has fa equal to fb. This guy kind of cheated. He just take a paper with 2 dots and he tilted. And he says, wait, I don't even need it to have 2 point at exactly same output. I can just excluding that fb equal to fb equal to fa idea. But if I figure out the slope of those 2 points, there's somewhere along the line that's going to give you exact same slope. Now, I'm going to show you that offers also something else. So we're going to talk about tangent line slope versus secant line slope. So I'm going to show you a graph. And the nice thing about Desmos is this. Desmos has very powerful things, like very powerful tools. We have this, let's just say, let's just say this point right here. Right? So, and this start from 1 point. I'm gonna hoping like this is gonna give. See, this is how I draw a tangent line. Imagine a tangent line like this. The tangent line is, yeah. Somewhere here, it's gonna have a slope that is almost identical to that. Believe it or not, I don't know how to get there because my hand's shaky. But hopefully, let me zoom in a little bit more. Maybe that'll help. Do you see that? Yeah. Do you see the line turn green? They have the same exact slope as the secant line. Okay, not only that, we're gonna go see how many they are. You can go scroll, and this is how you think about tangent. A lot of people cannot imagine tangent. This is a tangent. We'll keep on going. Do you see that?
Wow. That's another one too.
2, right? Is there one more? Is there one more? There's one more.
Damn.
There's 3. And so this is why mean value theorem is very, very important. Now, think about realistic situations, right? Think about that in terms of velocity. And there are 2 types of velocity. Can you name those 2 types? What is it? No? Well, that's kind of, yeah, but the 2 words are in calculus that we use a lot. Yes? Instantaneous. Don't ask me how to spell instantaneous. Gia, you're brown. You should know how to spell. You went spelling bees.
I did once.
You actually went. Which grade are you?
I think it was in elementary school.
Really? So do you know how to spell instantaneous? T-A-N-P-O-U-S.
Oh, good. Okay.
Gia, he just went your spelling bee. She's gonna be like, what's the origin?
Huh?
Origin of the
Oh.
word? Now, don't you have to ask that? Was like, what's the origin of words and what's part of speech, right?
Yeah.
You have to do that?
Austin, you win spelling bee too? He's like,
Oh, I didn't make it that far. I didn't even make it that far.
the funny thing is like, there's no white people in spelling bee. It's all on brown
It's
people.
only the Asian people that way.
It's only Indians. Not even like Asian. It's like only Indians. Like
It's
top
okay.
10. And they run out of words every time they compete.
I wish I was gonna be. Yeah.
They ran out of words. They were like just
They're
like,
I'm like, what is going on? That's crazy.
and their parents are like computer. I heard like there was one interview. Their parents are computer engineers, and they designed a program for the kids to help them memorize the words.
That's too much.
So-
I'll never
So-
do that to my
Dedication to
children.
a freaking spelling bee. Like,
huh?
That's a lot of dedication. to
Imagine
a
you do
spelling
all that
bee.
and then you lose.
No, they ran out of words. Like I think the last few times they ran out of words. They have no more words for them. That's how bad. And they have to come up with the word. Instantaneous velocity. What's the second type of velocity? Average velocity. Now imagine that if you drive from here to Gainesville, right? So Orlando to Gainesville, and let's just say for easy calculation reason, it's gonna be not money, but 120 mile, and it takes 2 hours. So what's my average velocity?
It takes 60 miles an hour.
So 60 mile per hour, right? Now, are you always driving 60 mile per hour? No, but sometimes you in the traffic, you're gonna be slower. You're gonna be 40 mile per hour, but it just tell you some point in line you have to go do 60. Sometimes it's gonna be above, sometimes it's gonna be underneath. When you have a lot of traffic, you're gonna slow down a little bit, right? When you are really driving really fast, you'll be above 60, but it has to go to 60. Or you can maintain 60 the whole way, which is really hard to do because you got traffic light, you got everything. Right? The average is, that just say tell you when that is. Okay, so the homework is already posted. You guys can start. I don't know how much time we have.